All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Week18, and we're going to continue with the JavaScript topics that we already treated in the class lesson. And today we are looking at new topics. We're looking at JavaScript concepts like classes, conditional statements, maths, and sets. So here I have created the templates that we're going to use, just like we have been doing for the previous lessons. So I have the same styles for my HTML, and you can see it's just says what has been written, and we haven't applied any JavaScript functionality to it yet. So here, because of time, I still have the sections that we're going to be applying the JavaScript functions to. So I have here the first section, which is going to be for our classes and objects. So in this section, we're going to look at an example for creating classes and objects. Just a little bit different from what we've done from class lesson, so we can have more understanding of how classes and objects works in JavaScript. And I have a button that has the events attributes for, which is on click, and we're going to create a function called createCar. So this section, we're going to have an object for a car, and we're going to make properties. We're going to create properties for the car, and then we're going to use those properties to on the function createCar. So when we click the button createCar, it's going to give us details of the objects in this class, the class that we're going to create. And we're going to get the ID to the ID, get ID, elements by ID using this ID here. And the second section is for conditional statements, and we're going to look at examples of conditional statements where when we click this button, it's going to tell us a particular, if the number, we're going to write a function for a number, and we're going to check the condition of the number, if it's negative or positive. And then if it's not, then the statements, the conditions that will follow. And the next section is for maths operations, which we heavily has already, most of these topics have been taught in the class lesson. So we're just going to do a few more examples using the maths methods that we've learned. Last is for the sets, and we're going to look at sets and how to demonstrate it using this same example. All right, so we're going to begin with classes and its objects. So for the classes and objects, we are going to be creating a class for a car. Now to create a class, we use the class word, the class, and now we're going to give the name of the class, which is a car. So we want to now create a constructor for the car. So the constructor itself here, just like we learned in the class lesson, is a method. It's a special method for creating and initializing an object that is created within the class. So we're going to create a constructor, and we do that by typing the text constructor, and now just like the in this constructor, we want to give the properties of a car. So just like the properties we have of a car has different properties that makes a car unique. We have property like the brand. We have the model. And we also have the year. So these are what's unique properties that distinguish different cars. So here we're going to create. We're going to store this in their variables, so we can create methods and make use of them in our methods. And to do this, we want to we're going to bind these properties to the car. Make sure that when we create our methods, that it's going to be for this car properties. So we do that by using this keyword. This, since we have the brand first there, we have this one. It's going to be equal to the brand that we supply, and we also have this model. This will be for the model, and that's going to have this just here. This will be for here. Now let's have our methods for this class. So the first method here is, since we want to be able to display the properties for this car, we are going to create a method that would return these properties. Now we are going to have a method for display details. And we're going to have the return statement. This method is just going to return the properties. So we say return. But other examples we've had where we use the plus operator to create a formatted string for variables that was stored. To create a formatted string using the variables we've stored values in, we're going to be using a different way of formatting a string here. So the difference between this, the one I'm going to be using now and that one, is when we use the plus operator, we automatically convert the data type of the values to a string, since it's a string operator. So it depends on the situation where you're using it. So if, for example, you do not know the type of data types or the values for the data type of the values, you might want to use this particular format. But if you already know and you're certain of what you need to do, you can continue with the formatted string where you use the plus operator. to combine the variables and the values. So here, to do this, we're going to use the backtick and the pound sign. Inside a curly brace, we're going to supply the properties. So first we have the brand. So we say this brand, this the brand. And also we're going to do the same for the model. There is the pound sign again. This is the return the model. That's the birthday here. To close the backtick. So we have a method that would return the properties once we have to call this class, or we make use of this class in any function or in a variable. Whenever we supply a class that needs to be used, it's just going to return the properties that we give for these variables or these items here. So now let's create a function that's going to be called to create the car properties once we supply the properties for these items here. So say function. Function now will be the function that we have specified here in the onClick. And the name of this function is createCar. Now, what this function is just going to do, we're just going to assign properties to the class, and we're going to store it in a variable. So we say, let my car equal to, since we want to call the class, we use the new keyword, say new car. There practices, we're going to supply the properties that we want to give for the items. So we say new car. Inside the parentheses, we are going to give the first property, which is the name we're going to use Toyota. For the model would be Toyota. For the year would be 2020. So these are properties that makes the car unique. We have the brand as Toyota, the model of the car is Toyota, and the year of this model is 2020. So we're going to print this to the screen. Once the button has been clicked, so we do that, we just get in documents. Let's get in ID. We have for this is car output. Let's copy that. So we want to print out the class. So we're going to say, since we are given the variable my car, it's the properties. So we've assigned these properties to the car properties using this variable my car, and we did that by specifying with the new keyword and calling the car class, then to supply the properties. So we're going to print out this, and this function is what is called once the button is clicked. It's in the button on click attributes, create car. So once it's clicked, it's going to give us the properties that we've assigned here. So to print this to the screen, we're going to say my car. That's the name of the method that we have that we're going to return the properties with the values that were given. So the my car display details. This will be automatically saved. So we expect that this is going to return the properties that we've given, the values we've given for these properties in the my car variable. So should say. Okay, so we are having a little problem. So I'm going to look and see why the display is not working. document. So the documents that get to an ID should be in the function. Yeah, so this should be in the function. Because the my car variable was assigned inside the function, so it cannot read my car outside the block of code. Just going to go through this again and see why it came up with class and the constructor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If the console, see if you configure out this. One, that's the one. Okay, problem. Sorry, I don't understand the question, Ms. Chama.
Okay, I'm saying that are we supposed to use function there or just an instance of that object?
Yeah, the reason
Like
why
saying,
can you hear me? Hello?
yes, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
the reason we're using a function here is okay. The reason why we're using a function here is so we can call the function on the button.
Okay. I
Yeah,
get it now.
we have it without function. What we can only do is really use console.log and print it out to the screen.
Okay, I get it now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, maybe I would have to change my ID and see if I'll be able to figure this out from my Atom ID. So I'm going to copy this code and use the Atom ID. I was hoping that the Visual Studio Code for this exercise will make it easier for me to always have the display live. So let's try the Atom ID. I'm going to stop sharing and share back with my Atom ID. Okay, can everyone see my screen? If you can see my screen, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
I am using my Atom ID now. The text coloring is a bit different here, but it's still the same content and the same script we have. So because of time, we're just going to quickly look at the other examples we have. But for this, what we have here is supposed to give us the properties for the values we've assigned. So we have the class and we have the constructor for the class that gives us the properties and make sure that the method it returns whenever we call the car, we're going to use the car class. It's going to return just the properties, and then we set values to the properties using the function. So in this block of code is for the class, and now outside we created a function whereby we assigned the class to the variable my car, and we gave the properties to its parameters that the properties we've used the constructor to create. And now we are getting this inside the function. Whenever we click the button, it's going to call this function, create car, and then it's going to print out these properties that we've assigned to the car class and display it on the screen. So, okay. So now we have it here. We have the Toyota Corolla 2020 as specified here. So this is just what is expected.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edmond.
Yeah, good afternoon.
How did you debug this error? What happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm still trying to figure out. So I don't know if because the VS code I'm using has auto revisions that it completes my code. So in order for us to, I've written this here before, which is supposed to be practically the same code, but I think using the predictions, it may have added something to the code without me knowing, because what I have here is still the same, or the same code I expect, but the VS code, I don't know, I can't really explain now, but I'm going to debug it further to see exactly why it did not display. But as you can see here, it's the same thing which we have written in the Visual Studio Code. So we get the elements exactly the way we did, the same name and classes. And if I'm going to use the developer tool here to see if it gives any further information. So there's no further information. So when we click, I'm going to refresh this. Great, it doesn't give an error. So I'm going to look at that properly. But for now, I'll stick to the Atom ID, which I've been using since. All right, let's quickly look at conditional statements. So for our conditional statements, for our conditional statements, we want to have a function that will tell us if an input, that we're going to have an input, and once we give the number as an input, it's going to tell us the condition of the number. So we're going to start with the function, and the function here is check number. So this is the function we're going to be calling on the button once it's clicked. So we're going to start with that. How this hasn't been a problem, so again, check number. And now what we're going to assign a prompt method. We're going to be using a prompt method for our input. Since this is not a form, unlike the other samples we've used where we had inputs and we get the value, we did use the document.get elements, .id and the name and the value for the inputs. But here, what we're going to do, we're going to make use of the prompt functionality inside the browser. So there's a prompt method. Let's do that. So say let number. So to get it, we use the prompt. So it's written as prompts. Brackets. Let's specify a placeholder that the user would use to get to understand what he needs to do. Of course, we're going to say so. The number we're going to see there, we're going to have a number there. It should start with 0. And then we're going to also make sure that the number is then when it's entered, once the prompt is entered, whatever value is entered must be a number. So say number is equal to the method Now we're going to write our statement. I'll give our conditional statement. So let's say let results. So the results will be the condition. We'll have the condition. So let results. And since we want to give a conditional statement, we end the line here, and below we specify the condition. So we say let results if, and the condition, the bracket, say if number is greater 0, so if number is the number that will be entered, if number is greater than 0, the result will be equal to this, okay, is positive. Now this is what we're going to have for the second condition. If the number isn't positive, or if it's, so we're going to use another if. So we say if, else if, so else if the number is less than 0, the result now will be equal to this number. This negative. Then we can add a neutral condition. So else if number is less than 0, the neutral condition now we can add is if it's less than, if it's okay, so we use else if none of them above is if none of them above meets the condition, neutral condition now would be okay. We don't have to specify. So if number is equal to 0, so we can either specify here if the number, else if the number is equal to 0, or we just go straight, and since we already know if it's not greater than 0, it's not less than 0, then it's equal to 0, since there are no other outcome could possibly come out of this. So we just go straight and say else result should be equal to the number is equal to 0, or it's 0. Let's close this. So this is just as basic as it is. So let's get the result printed out. Let's say documents. Let's get the results. So let's go through this again. Let's save this first. Sure. Alright, so what's expected here is that we created a function to check numbers. And in the function, we say let number, we created a variable and use the prompt methods to give a prompt that is going to say enter a number, and the default number there will be 0. And what does this function wants to check is going to make sure that first that it's a number, that the number variable must be a number, and the result now will be the condition. So the condition for the result is if the number is greater than 0, then it's going to print out this number. It's the result now will give us this number is positive, and if the number is less than 0, the result will be this number is negative. And also the final condition is if neither of them is the number is neither greater than 0 or less than 0, then the number is definitely 0. So we're going to test this and see. Okay, now we have another algorithm. So we can see it. Go and see why. So this is it. Okay, so I gave a function without mentioning the keyword function. Line 77. So that's why it's giving me syntax error. Going to refresh and see if it works. Okay, so now it's worked. And now the prompt now is the reason why we have this window displaying, and now it says enter a number, and it's just like we specified in the string. It's the placeholder for it, that's the label. It says enter a number, and now we're going to test this by entering a number. So let's give the negative number first. Okay, let's just use 1. So it prints out just like the condition that says if the number is greater than 0, then the number is positive. But if the number now is less than 0, so something less, so the number less than 0 will be a negative number. So let's use 1 minus 1. So the number is negative because -1 is less than 2. Or if we're going to test it for the final condition, we do not give any number, we say remains 0, then it just gives us the last condition that says the number is 0. So you can see that there's always maybe a little error or a little syntax error that you may have, and just as it is happening in life, you can see how I am trying to debug it as well to make sure that it displays and the JavaScript comes. So whenever you have your errors, you can always use the console to debug your code and make sure once you see a syntax error, it means that the error is from your script. So the way your script was written, if it's an indentation or any other type of error, it tells you, you're just going to use as the word describes the error and locate that error on your code. So sometimes you just have to take your time to look at it because debugging can really be time consuming. The more you want to hurry to find it, sometimes it gets harder to find. So with patience and diligence, you'll be able to find the error. So let's look at because of time, we're going to skip the math operations because the math operations basically the examples we have, like we have in the class lessons, are just making use of the different math methods and giving the values for the math methods to perform its function. So we're just going to look at sets. We're just going to quickly look at sets example. So for sets, we're going to have the function. HTML, we have a function named as demonstrate sets. So to correct my formal mistake, we start with the function keyword, say demonstrate sets. Now let's add set. Now since this is a set, we use the so I'm trying to create a set inside a function. So first I started with the function, and the reason why I'm doing this is so we can call the function when we click the button. Unlike the class lesson where the set was created on its own, but here I'm creating it inside a function, so we can call this function on the button. So let's my set go to new, then the name of this set will just the name of set is my set, and new set is going to initiate this set. So it's an empty parenthesis. Now we can add to this set. So I'm going to say my set dot add. So let's just add numbers. Set dot add. Sounds fine. Okay, so because set is unique and it's not just like the set mentioned in the class lesson, we're going to look at how it's unique. So I want to repeat a value here, and I want to repeat 1. So we're going to see if it's going to read this value twice, or it's going to make sure it's unique and not read it twice. So if it goes well, this particular last set we've added will not be added since one is already in the sets already. So let's have that variable. So now we want to make use of some methods here, and we want to check the items inside the set. So let's have a variable to do that. So we say does this set has one. So I'm going to say let has one equal to my set dot has. So you can always refer back to when we looked at different methods and to check if I think this was mentioned in the previous classes. So we want to know if this set has this particular value we want to give in the parentheses. So now this will give us a result of true or false. So we want to know if my set has one. Now, before we look at other methods, we're just going to check this first. So let's create some output for this. Say let's output I'm going to use the same smarted string like for the class. So say set has one. If the set has one, then we're going to call the variable using the pound sign format that we had before. So has one. This and see how it's going to display. And let's get to the next one and the ID. There we go. That's output. So print out the output. Save this. So fresh. Let's see if it demonstrates as it's saved. So now you see the method here. We want to check what we have in the set, and we say does the set has one, and it says true, the set has one. Okay, now let's also check for other methods. We want to look if the size of the set. So let's look at the size to confirm if the one is identified twice or not. So let's look at this. Say let's size my set dot size. The size is the name of the method. Here at the output, we're going to add, let's use a breakpoint first. want to check the size. So the size thing. Let's take this back to this. So everything is meant to be inside the backtick. Break the line there and see for the size. For the size, we're going to repeat the same asset strength. But this time is for size. This. Save. See if this works. So when we demonstrate, now we can see that it's giving us the size as 2 because the set is unique and it would not read an item twice. That's one unique way the set works. So we can as well take out the one of it, since here we already know, but it's not going to read it as duplicate. So it's going to give it as one item. So that's why we have 1 as true. Yes, it has 1, but still the size remains 2. It does not read the number 1 as 2 item. So let's see if we can add another set here. So say size, short. Let's delete one of them. So my set let's delete. Let's delete number 5. So since this let's refresh and see if it's still going to tell us the size is 2. Okay, so I think there's little error, so it's meant to give us 1. Okay, so it's with this is for this size. Save one. Now it gives us 1. So it's read. I had it in the line after my size. So now what we have here, what's happened is it's if we are going to delete an item, it's for us to read the size, which we had also in the output. The line for the deletion must be read first before we check the size. So unless I repeat this variable and give it maybe another variable after the delete has been done. For the basic understanding here, we can see that the set is unique and its item also is must be unique. It does not duplicate items. That's why we have this. We had the size as 2, even when we had number 1 coming twice. And also after deleting the 5, it still doesn't read uh, the number of items as 2 because it cannot repeat 1 as set is meant to be used. So I think this is enough for today. We've spent the time. So if there's any questions so far, you can ask them. All right. If there are no questions, we can end the class here. And if you have any challenges, you can always reach out to me on the WhatsApp group. All right. I wish you all success in your assignment.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.